Peace, peace. Happy now. Now is the vibrate, of course. We're not going too far in the future. We're not going too far in the past. Right now. I want to get into this vibe about the sevens. You know, again, they're coming across just this vibe to deal with the energy of like when we talk about the book of Revelations, talking about, these seven churches and what is it, like a seven-headed monster, or I think it's a 10-headed monster, but just dealing with the number seven and all these different aspects and how it's been coming together in my own experience. Of course, like dealing with the Enochian Magic book I've been reading, called Enochian Vision Magic by Lon Milo Duquette. Lon Milo, Lon, and Milo, Milo, Duquette, Duquette. And think about one of his aspects of, like, it was like a prayer in essence that he used before he kind of starts his magic. It's like draw 7 circles on the table and say 7 rest in 7, and the 7 live by 7, and the 7 govern the 7, and by 7 all government is. You think about government, governing meaning to steer. So things are steered by the 7. The 7 have the influence. And you think about Yin and Ya, connected to the 7 seas, and 7 seas again, the 7 chakras. You think about the seals of Solomon, and also the Solomon energy, also connected to planetary magic. The 7 planets. They got the little. As a matter of fact, I always forget those 2 signs. What it is, Venus 39. No, that's not Venus. It's Mercury. Let's start with 44. Alright, yeah. These are Mercury signs, and then there's Venus up there. But you see again these connections with 7. We got 7 chakras, of course. What else connected to 7? You also got matter of fact, dealing with the energy of Abraxas. Abraxas basically it's like a symbol for a deity. But also when you think about the Sefer Yetzirah, basically is a Kabbalistic work known as the Book of Creation, the earliest Kabbalistic work reputedly written by Abraham. The symbol associated with, and again, Abraham, all Brahmin in Hindu, but the symbol associated with it essentially describes the order of the creation. The symbol represents the 3, the 3 mother letters, the 7 double letters, and the 12 simple letters. The little diagram. So you had the 3 Hebrew letters in the first triangle. That's the mother letters. Then the 7. But again, just the correlation of 7 with that. Just want to draw that connection. Now dealing with the Sephirots on the Tree of Life. 7 deals with Nizak. Nizak deals with the energy of Venus. Just to speak on one of the energies that Nizak deal with. but got the 7 there as well. Again, I'm just because it's almost like a not almost, it is like an open discussion. I say open, but an open vibe video because I didn't have no necessarily direction in essence. But I knew like I just want to correlate all the little information I've been coming across lately. We're dealing with the just number 7 and certain aspects being brought to my attention, especially when dealing with the book of Enoch and Enochian magic. Because also I came across this movie, called Along with the Gods, and one of the first quotes they spoke on was like when a person reaches the afterlife, they are judged 7 times over the course of 49 days and tried by deceit, indolence, injustice, betrayal, violence, murder, and filial impiety. And only the souls who pass all trials are reincarnated. And that's a Buddhist scripture that's started off the movie. And seeing that aspect as well. Then also, because our creation, like from the book of Enoch, as above, so below, as much as it's talking about, again, the 7 planets and things that are in the macrocosm, it's also speaking of the microcosm of, say, for instance, like when we're being born in the womb, you know what I'm saying? Like when we're in the womb and getting our little physical body coming together, the way the same creation stories in essence apply, as above so below, it applies to us in the womb as well. We have different layers of we have our chakras coming with the root, because again it starts like a tree. That's why the root chakra deals with our early development, because for something to even start off growing, it gotta have, like, at least in this physical realm, trees, plants, anything that's gonna be growing in essence, you gotta have some roots. Like, know where you're going, you gotta know where you come from. And you have the 7 chakras, of course. Again, root, sacral, solar plexus, heart chakra, throat, first eye, third eye, whichever one you want to call it, and crown chakra, in which we have more than 7 chakras. But again, just that connection to those, as the quote unquote main ones in essence. But again, all equally important, because we got the higher crown, we got higher heart, we got the spleen chakra, got knee chakras, palm chakras, more than that. But again, just in connection with this energy. And we also got 7 bodies. We got the first layer, the etheric body, the closest energy body to the physical. It extends 1/4 to 2 inches beyond the physical body. Then you got the second layer, the emotional body, connected with feelings. It extends 1 inch to 3 inches from the body. It contains all colors in the rainbow, and the colors change due to emotions, and confused emotions may cause murky or muddy tones. The third layer is the mental body, and basically, again, like, our auric field got different little layers, and our mental body holds thoughts and mental processes. It extends 3 inches to 8 inches from the body, generally yellow light, brighter when in deep thought or concentrating on mental activities. Then you have the fourth layer, that's the astral level, and that's the true bridge to the spiritual plane. Subtle energy is felt within that astral body, and it's 6 inches to 1 foot away from the body. And the extrasensory perception is felt with this body, and the colors of colors of the rainbow, just like the emotional body, but more of a pink and rose hue to it. You have the fifth layer, etheric template body, the template, which is like the blueprint that exists before the physical body is formed, kind of like the crystal lattice, or you think of the flower of life, the blueprint, You know, Coco Blueprint of Love of the Flower of Life is basically an example of non-destructive or constructive wave interference. You know, waves when moving in the uh, in the golden mean ratio, you know, not only produce a flower of life pattern, but it allows for waves to construct, you know, constructively interfere with each other, meaning they coming across each other. And I got a video on waves, just in general, for you to go deep in that aspect. But and also like a crystal lattice, you know, like you know, before a piece of pyrite actually could become an actual cube, you know, like in the physical aspect of it, you know, it has a crystal lattice that's shaped like a cube on the etheric level, you know, that it grows into, you know, within the physical. So again, the fifth layer, etheric template body, template or blueprint that exists before physical body is formed. It coexists in different dimension. It coexists in a different dimension, and it also extends a foot and a half to 2 foot or 2 feet from the body. The sixth layer, the celestial body, spiritual emotional plane, feelings of bliss and spiritual ecstasy, divine love and interconnectedness, and deep meditation. The heart chakra is in alignment with the higher celestial bodies, uh, in connection with the celestial body, the sixth layer. The seventh layer, etheric template or casual body, mental level of the spiritual plane. So it's like the mental body, but on a spirit, you know, on a higher aspect. Whereas the celestial body is the emotional level of the spiritual plane, uh, and it contains all other bodies within it. You know, speaking about the Keitheric template or the casual body, basically contains all the other bodies within it, and extends 3.5 feet from the body, more like an egg shape. And with these 7 layers, so say for instance, because also, you know, dealing with Enochian magic, you know, they talk about these 49 quote unquote good angels, you know, that John Dee and Edward Kelly was dealing with, you know. And not getting too deep into John Dee, you could research, or I probably got other videos where I kind of speak on John Dee. But John Dee basically, you know, was tapping into the Enochian magic. You know, he come about, matter of fact, right after the Moors signed over, you know, in 14, I forgot the actual date, 1490 something or 1449, something like that. You know, the Moors, basically after them built all of the universities in Europe, things of this nature. John Dee come along, you getting his vibe on, because for him to have such an extensive library and be considered somebody like that, you know, he probably, you know, he's a product of, you know, that information being passed down. But and not trying to get in the ego of like, oh, you know, again, just speaking on the information of what it is, but you know, like, oh, yeah, we handed down that information, because ain't no we, this and that, like, just not getting caught up in the egotistical part of that. Just leave it at that. But again, the 49 good angels, and you think about it, 7 times 7 is 49. You know, you think about you know, we got 7 chakras, you know, 7 planets that we connect with, uh 7 auric bodies, you know, with all these different levels. And then 2, you also think about each, you know, each body, whether it's the, you know, the 7 bodies or the 7 chakras or 7 planets, all have a negative and positive aspect of it as well, you know. So again, you know, because when Enoch, again, going in this place and he asking what those 7 mountains are, the 7 storms are, you know, like basically going through the blueprint or the energies of, you know, what's inside of us. And you know, again, the planets on a macrocosmic level, and on a microcosmic level is the chakras within us. But you know, those 49 quote unquote, you know, angelic beings are, again, that's why Enoch is or Enochian magic, you know, keyword Enochian, Enoch, you know what I'm saying, dealing with those archangels and that energy, you know. And also you think about the seven connection with with the kundalini, raising up, the seven chakras. But it's a correlation across the board. And again, just starting to see the importance of us, really getting deeper into that aspect of, with all these references to sevens, got the seven heavens of chaos, again, seven chakras within the body, with the seven deadly sins to a certain extent is like the negative aspects of, like, whether it be chakras, uh, you know, the body, the seven bodies, or the planets, that's also a correlation as well. But because I think about the actual show the anime Seven Deadly Sins that I came across recently, and even from Full Metal Alchemist, where they were fighting against the seven deadly sins in Full Metal Alchemist, you know. But that's another thing too. When Enoch was with the angels, and he referenced being in a chaotic place with no top or bottom, with seven stars burning like great mountains, you know. But again, just pointing to that. So and I also again came across information speaking about like how, because that's also like with the Gnostic papers, and with Carl Jung being able to do such great work on like archetypes, and in the aspects of our psyche, because again those that 7 times 7, those 49 different energies is an aspect of our psyche, due to it being within, again, the seven bodies, seven chakras, all have different energies, and connect with each in a different way, because the moon causes a different vibration in each chakra, and has a different, the sun gonna be a different vibration with each chakra, Mars gonna be a different vibration in each chakra, you know, and each chakra connecting with each aspect of the different chakras connecting with the seven bodies, as well. Where you got the second layer, the emotional body, which that would be more so connected, like say with the sacral chakra in essence. But this is basically where we get this this vibe of the 49, different deities. And again, in correlation with the Buddhist scripture, there are, like, when your person reaches the afterlife, they're judged 7 times over a course of 49 days. You judged by all of that, all those different personalities, or should I say, conscious energies. All those different realms of consciousness. All those different vibes of seven coming together. Is basically also that judgment. And again, another aspect in the book of Enoch where they speak on, it was like when he also spoke to the mountains in another reference, he was like, yeah, that's the place where certain souls are locked in, are kind of like punished in imprisonment in those seven little mountains or seven storms, because they didn't come forth when the time was called for them to come forth, basically like when it was time to ascend, they wasn't on point with what they was needing to be doing. So it's like they end up like, and we talk about the seven chakras, also light prisms or light prisons, because again, as much as we like, oh yeah, the chakras, this and that, like realizing like, well, just like zodiac signs, of course we want to learn about them and learn about the uniqueness, but not in the aspect of like, getting lost in the sauce of like being controlled by these energies, more so realizing it's mastering these energies in order to make sure that we not when we transition and we're not coming back to this realm. Like we're working out all the karmic energy within our chakras and you know within our chakras and within our seven bodies. All have different karmic energy, and karmic just cause and effect. For whatever actions we put out through lifetimes, had a effect, what I'm saying? And we clearing up and cleaning out those things in those seven chakras. But if you don't, you'll end up, locked back into them. And when we talk about ancestors, transitioning and speaking on like how, in some ways, them coming back into our bodies in essence, you know, and on a microcosmic level, like parts of that energy being trapped within our chakras, you know. So, it's definitely important to tap into that information, because also just got the different tables right here. That's like some of these Nokian letters. I drew down. It's like the table, like coming up with the different names and everything dealing with seven. And it may be seven like seven letters for some of these names, like seven letters, seven name, like just everything again, like the seven resting seven and the seven shall go, like that whole connection with the planets, the chakras, again the bodies within. I mean the etheric, or not say etheric body because it's different bodies, but the different bodies in our auric field, all have this correlation. And then you come again to the seven the seven seals of Solomon, the seven seas dealing with Yemenya. You just start to see that it's importance of dealing with this seven. As a matter of fact, and then on another level, like on the angel numbers, seven, seeing 777 is dealing with us being on the right path. Basically telling us a job well done and to keep it up. Telling us we're in alignment and reminding us to let go and let God. Also, it's letting us know it's a sign of spiritual enlightenment and an awareness indicator. Letting us know that we are becoming more consciously aware of our spiritual growth, and leveling up. But, again, just seeing this number for a lot of things right now. But definitely just want to, share that aspect. The seven. Matter of fact, that's also too. When I was talking about the, with the Hebrew letters and the, how you got the three mother letters and the seven double letters and the 12 simple letters. You got the how there's like three. There's like three signs for each element. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you got Pisces, Scorpio, and Pisces for water. It's three different signs. You got three different signs for fire, three different signs for air, three different signs for earth, and then you got seven planets, in connection with those different signs. And then ultimately you're coming out with 12 zodiac signs, and that's all connected again with the 3 mother letters, 7 double letters, and 12 simple letters. You know, that's why I like with that connection with Ophiuchus. That's something we're kind of moving into. You know what I'm saying? But just on the vibe of what we have been dealing with. It's the 12 zodiac sign. And matter of fact, uh, have 7 stars in Polaris. That's basically the Great Bear constellation, which symbolized the dragon Nuit. But seeing that again, the 7 popping up a lot. Set opened up his mom's vagina, at the south gate, you know, and that axe kind of, shaped like a 7, you know, and everything pointing back again, like with the connection with Enoch, these 49 quote unquote good angels. If you look up the Sigillum Dei Ameth, which I done kind of spoke on before, you'll see like the little wheel with the different, like dealing with Enochian magic and coming out with these different, again connecting with these different archangels, because that's also too. You got Zaphkiel, Cumael, Haniel, Gabriel, Zadkiel, Raphael, and Michael, but that's all, in connection. Michael with the Mercury, Raphael with the sun or soul, Zadkiel, Jupiter, Gabriel, the lunar or the moon, Haniel, Venus, Cumael, Mars, and Zaphkiel, Saturn. And that all comes from this, if you follow this up and down, like going down, and then that creates a name, and the next name, and the next name. Coming down, you got Michael, Michael, then Gabriel at the end. Then you got the daughters of light, L.S.A. Akele, Stem Cool, Me, Iana, and Asdobin or Asdobin. I'm saying it to the best of my ability, but again, and this is a small, but the Sigillum Dei Ameth got like the little, it's a 7-pointed star with and it has a 5-pointed star within it, and a little wheel with all kind of letters and names on it. Seen it before. If you Google it, Sigillum Dei Ameth, or Ameth. Matter of fact, how do you spell that right quick? Sigillum, Sigillum, and Dei, Dei, or D, well, Ameth, Aemeth. But it's definitely, again, just a strong vibe. And what I get from, and why I'm sharing this again, I'm getting from it that, it's important for us to, tap deeper into this information, like with the Book of Enoch and the Apocrypha, and, these ancient texts taken away from, the Nag Hammadi text, that speaks on these different aspects of. And remember, when you read these texts too, it's important to remember one man's God is another man's devil. So in certain texts, certain beings that's made to seem as evil, quote unquote, maybe the energies that are quote unquote beneficial for us right now, instead of being somewhat evil. Again, because one man's God is another man's devil. The actual devil, in essence, is the God of the Old Testament. You know what I'm saying? So, in so many words, but again, either no good or bad. It's just a part of the experience. You know, that good or bad stuff come in on that human moralistic level. Looking at it from that aspect. But we are gods on a human experience, so it's deeper than just looking at it at face value. Again, as a matter of fact, also, while I'm here, spoiler alert, uh, I watched this movie. Again, I kind of spoke to it a little bit earlier, but along with the gods, you know, and basically, again, when a person reaches the afterlife, they are judged 7 times over the course of 49 days, tried by deceit, indolence, injustice, uh, or I should say injustice and betrayal, violence, murder, and again, filial impiety. And only the souls who pass all trials are reincarnated, you know. And again, the 49 good angels or planetary angels conjured up by John D. and Kelly, and also in connection with Enoch coming across and come across these different 7 archangels, and learn about the end times, and again, even in the little book of let's see, I could find a quick little front that came off, but look. And you see, like, that's how you do your sigils. Which now I can't show y'all my sigils because it's certain sigils, like, when you got a certain little vibe to it, you don't want to necessarily just like show people on that vibe. It might take away the little magic, might disrupt it. Let's say that. But wait, where Revelations at? There we go. But I'm trying to look for a little verse with speaking on 7 right quick, just to have an example while I'm right here. But chapter 7 in the Revelation. And after these things I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living God, and he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea. Matter of fact, it starts to get down into the tribes, the 12 tribes, which are the 12 zodiac signs. But yeah, it's just breaking down occult, occult meaning that which is hidden, or esoteric, eso, esoteric with an S, is the inner knowledge, the inner meaning, and the exo meaning outer, But I guess I couldn't find one. I guess I didn't want me to. I mean, you go look through Revelations, you'll see different little verses and vibes about the 7s. Matter of fact, and I heard a great voice out of the temple saying to the 7 angels, out of the temple, again, and knowing analogies, like whenever they talking about, especially in the Bible, because it's definitely not trying to speak literal, and of course, indirectly, some things may fall into a literal sense. I've seen it, so I'm not gonna be on that vibe of, oh, no. Nah, some things I saw where it could have a literal sense to it, but for the most part, the temple is the body. Matter of fact, this chapter 15, Revelation 15. I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, 7 angels having the 7 last plagues, for in them is filled up the wrath of God. And I saw as it were a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that had gotten the victory over the beast and over his image and over his mark and over the number of his name stand on the sea of glass, having the harps of God. And they sing the song of Moses, the servant of God, and the song of the Lamb, saying, Great and marvelous are thy works, Lord God Almighty. Just and true are the ways, thou King of saints. But right there, like again, we're talking about seven angels having the seven last plagues, but again, those plagues may not necessarily be, something like a plague towards, one man's God is another man's devil. Always remember that. And the seven angels came out of the temple having the seven plagues, clothed in pure and white linen, and having their breasts girded with golden girdles. And one of the four beasts gave unto the seven angels seven golden vials full of the wrath of God, who liveth forever and ever. And the temple was filled with smoke from the glory of God and from his power, and no man was able to enter the temple. Still the seven plagues of the seven angels were fulfilled. Nobody was able to. Matter of fact, how I say that? Give me all the smoke. The temple was filled with smoke from the glory of God. But yeah, not gonna go any further, but y'all get the picture, man. The correlation is 7. And matter of fact, yeah, along with the guys, that's where I was at though. And spoiler alert, but basically it's a movie again along with the gods, the two worlds, and it's I think it's on Hulu if I'm not mistaken. And matter of fact, came across it when I was looking for another show. It just was like there, like like watch this, But it had a brethren who basically a fireman who died, and kind of like on the Sixth Sense vibe where he died, and he's kind of still thinking like, oh, I'm alive, and it's like nah, and then he had two angels, but basically it's like three angels, or three guardians, bringing them through the afterlife, and it made me think about again Bobby Hemmett spoke on how the ancestors are like pleading our case for us, like like in these different dimensions or different planes, it's like hold on, like that's my boy right there, like he might have did that, but it was out of this energy, like it seemed like it was bad, but he was just trying to feed his family, and that's the whole thing with this situation with the afterlife. And now to speak on a aspect of me dealing with it myself, when I basically thought I transitioned with one of my DMT trips, because again, DMT is released in near-death experiences, lucid dreaming, and at the moment of transition or quote unquote death. So that's basically, that's why I felt like I was going, because I was tapped into that realm, and and basically, again, you start to see where we tap back into, it's basically like judging ourselves. Of course, it may be considered certain beings or something that may be outside of us in essence, and to some extent we are like interfacing with to some extent a different energy, but it's kind of like our own internal judgment, like our own, again, not letting your heart weigh heavier than the feather, because if your heart weighing heavy the feather, then you're gonna feel guilty, or like, oh man, I should have did this. Like you're gonna be full of you full of that matrix, so you're gonna go back to it. You know what I'm saying? Instead of being like, oh man, I did that, and plus I knew I was just passing through anyway. You know what I'm saying? Look, where the next stage at? You know what I'm saying? But he they was keeping up, like when they first came to him talking about the numbers, like he died a noble death for the first time in like 422 years, like out of all his incarnations, it's like this was a one of his most noble forms of transitioning. And again, and matter of fact, he was called a paragon. Like a paragon was a soul that was like, basically in so many words that would be light as a feather. And it was almost like a paragon was almost like a ticket for other beings, as well. Because the three beings that were helping, basically like being like his public defenders. And imagine like being on a DMT trip, or just being, on a journey within your body, and you're going through each one of your seven chakras, and judging yourself. Like you're in the root chakra and you're dealing with a certain energy or being of consciousness that's judging you in that realm. Then you move to the sacral chakra and you get judged in that realm, and you move, you know what I'm saying? Because again, with the book of Enoch reference, where he talked about like these angels, I said it like these are beings who kind of like didn't answer their call. The ones that's stuck in the mountain, you know. It's like the beings who didn't step forward. I'm trying to look for the quote. They have not come forth at their appointed times. You know what I'm saying? Not doing what they had to do when it was time to do it. Basically. And again, just that correlation to that process of, like, again, the afterlife, and going through the trials of our seven chakras. And if we done healed all the little trauma and lower energies within those chakras, you know and we could move on. You know what I'm saying? And again, the process, 7 trials in 49 days. Because it's like, say for instance, 49 days in one trial, you may be, again, like 7 times 7, like one chakra dealing with 7 planets, and the other chakra dealing with 7 planets, and that, which in turns up to being 7 times 7, 49. Because again, when they say 49 days and 7 trials, that's symbols and personifications of, again, dealing with certain energies, and not necessarily 7 trials. But in this sense, yeah, 7 trials, the 7 chakras you're going through, and kind of, when we talk about the 7 deadly sins, like where you being, I can only think about a few, but like a glutton and things of this nature. That's how they kind of judged it too. Like when he went to the stage of dealing with the first place he stopped at. Because matter of fact, he was going through judgments from the lightest to the harshest. So so his first person he dealt with was murder. Why? Because he was light in that area. Like he had one kind of close to negligent type of homicide. They tried to, because again, it was like all it count. Like if you handed somebody a $100 bill, and because you gave them that, they went killed themselves. Like it was like, in so many words, like you accountable for that. And the 3 guardians was like the again, like the public defender, like making sure, like, oh no, look, to the being, the god of murder, basically the god of murder, the god placing that judgment, and going to next levels till he got, as he went further and further, like things became, more harsher, getting into the things that were more heavier for them to deal with. But you just see that little correlation in that. But that's basically it. Connecting with, just something pointing to us, doing our chakra work, clearing certain energies from out our, subconscious mind, in essence, and just out of our being, and that comes through a certain cause and effect, aka karma, working out certain energies, by doing certain actions, and being of a certain energy, to release all those heavy energies that prevent you from, going to the higher dimensions and the next levels, in the transition through the quote unquote afterlife. I mean, 'cause I know life is life. I am life. You know what I'm saying? But for lack of a better word, the afterlife. But the sevens. Peace. Happy now. Now as the vibrates. You're not going too far in the future. You're not going too far in the past.